give me a moment. We're connected right now.
Yeah, I think it's on now.
Is it? Okay, perfect. All right, and I better move myself over there, otherwise I'm gonna hear two voices. There you go. All right. Okay, well, let's get started on time then, and it is recorded, so if our friends are running late, they will still be able to see this. Alrighty. All right, well, so everyone, it's such our pleasure to have Interlochen today. We've heard so many positive comments about Interlochen, and we really would like to introduce many schools to you all. There are so many great, outstanding schools in the US, and we wanted you guys to have another kind of perspective, a different ideas, you know, like what these all great schools, what they do, and how come they are also very successful schools, and they train outstanding students as well. So I wanted to welcome Sydney, and I really appreciate that you're being here today. So please go ahead, Sydney.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And welcome to Interlochen Arts Academy. I would just like to start off by maybe talking a little bit about some of our amazing alumni. We have alumni that work in all different industries, whether it's in music, whether it's in science, whether it's in dance, or many things, as you can see here. And I won't, read the whole slide, but I love that 12% of the Fortune 500 have come from Interlochen and things like that. I just think it's so cool. So Interlochen is a grades 9 through 12 and postgraduate boarding and day school. And this picture here is one of our residence halls. We're located in northern Michigan, just outside of a town called Traverse City. And it's really a beautiful area. So this is one of our residence halls that sits right on the water. We're in between two lakes, which is why we're called Interlochen, Lochen for lake. Here is our brand new dance center. We have many facilities. We just finished about 30-year campus master plan for all of our campus facilities. And so this is one of our brand new buildings as well that we have just finished. And here's the inside of that building. As you can see, because we are in northern Michigan, our school does get cold. So we have some snow and ice, and it's really just a beautiful area. So Interlochen has things that happen all year round. Our Arts Academy is from the fall through the spring. Then in the summertime, we have our arts camp. So between the months of June and August, we have our arts camp. And then we also have the College of Creative Arts, which is for adult learners. And that goes all year round, as well as our Interlochen online programs. And those are really wonderful. If you've never heard of Interlochen Online before, it's one of our newer programs. And it goes all year, and it's asynchronous online learning. It's not a high school program per se, but it's more of like you can take a class and learn about a specific subject. So just a top 10 I like to give. We are the oldest and largest arts boarding school in the United States. There's a couple of other ones, and also there's lots of arts magnet schools. But this is kind of the oldest and largest in the United States. And like I said, we offer grades 9 through 12 and a postgraduate year and 7 arts divisions. So basically, if you can think of an art that you like, we offer it. We offer visual arts, we offer dance, we offer music, we offer interdisciplinary arts, which is for students who maybe want to explore many different arts areas. And then we also offer, I'm missing things, I know there's so many to keep in my head. We have music production, and we have dance, and we have film, acting, musical theater. So basically, if you can think of an arts area, we have it. We have 557 students with about 30% domestic diversity. and about, I would say this year, about 13 to 15% international. So we have a large international student population, and they come from many, many, many different countries, over 23. 80% of students at Interlochen Arts Academy receive some kind of financial aid, whether that's merit-based aid or need-based aid. And this statistic on here is 15.7 million awarded in 2020-21. This year, we awarded over $17 million in financial aid. So each year we're able to offer students more and more money with the goal of, if a student is good enough to get in, we really want them here, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that money is not the barrier for them. The average class size is about 9 students with a 6-to-1 student to teacher ratio. So the students have a lot of one-on-one touch points, which are really wonderful. So our graduates, 96% of them are accepted into one of their top 3 college choices. And our students go to all different kinds of schools. One of the misconceptions about Interlochen is that students only go to conservatories, or students are only going into arts areas, but many of our students choose to go to Ivy Leagues like Stanford and Harvard and schools like that. And we find that those schools really love our students because of their creative, artistic thinking. On campus, we have a 24/7, campus safety and health center. So if anybody were to be injured or get sick and need help, assistance, we would be able to help them very quickly. As you can see, we have tons of concerts and performances every year. And I would say students are performing, every 2 weeks at minimum, which is so great because that's exactly what they want to be doing. And then we also offer off-campus touring opportunities for students, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So we'll talk a little bit about residence life. We'll talk a little bit about academic and college counseling. We'll talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, recreation, sustainability, campus preparedness, and what you should do next to try to get here. So what makes Interlochen different from other boarding schools? So many boarding schools will have like a residence life staff that also teaches soccer, that also teaches math. And at Interlochen, we have 3 different artistic faculty, or 3 different faculties: our arts faculty, our residence life faculty, and our academic faculty. So all of these people are focused on one thing instead of putting their foot in all of the different buckets. So I talked a little bit about touring opportunities in the slide before. This year, we are going to be part of a collaboration with the New York Philharmonic in upcoming March. On a theme of liberation, we're going to be playing a side-by-side performance with the New York Philharmonic in the newly renovated David Geffen Hall in Lincoln Center. And so many of the alums of Interlochen are in the New York Philharmonic. And so it's going to be great to go back and perform with students who had the chance to come here and then go on and do amazing things. So, and then our Arts Academy conductor, Dr. Leslie B. Dunner, is not only conducting that concert, but he will be conducting the New York Philharmonic that whole weekend. So that's a really amazing opportunity for him. We've been to Miami. We've taken the students for a tour in Miami. We've taken them to New York to play in Carnegie Hall. So there's lots of opportunities for students to get off campus and do many different artistic opportunities outside of Interlochen. So at Interlochen, we have a really wonderful academic and college counseling and support system. All the students are assigned to an academic college counselor that will help with scheduling their classes at Interlochen, figuring out what schools they should apply to, how to apply, and keeping them organized. And we also offer what's called the Academic Center for Enrichment. So if students have a learning disability, or if they need some extra help, or if they need maybe just some extra time, or if they want to talk with a teacher, or if they want to do classes online, this is a place they can go and get help with that. Dr. Michael Kern is head of that program. He's an educational school psychologist and is wonderful and very knowledgeable and helps the students through all of that. We offer 3 levels of English as a second language courses for students who are coming from different countries, and that helps them get integrated into the academics here at Interlochen. So the Academy daily schedule, class starts 8:30, in 6:20. That sounds like a really long day, but you're not going to have class that whole time. So you might have a class and then a break and then a class. Nothing about the arts is extracurricular. It's all co-curricular. So when we say co-curricular, we mean that the arts are integrated into the academics. So in physics, you might be studying sound waves or building an instrument, or something along those lines. There's always performances in the evenings on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. So definitely an amazing opportunity to go see your friends perform and maybe learn about an arts area you didn't know about before. So college counseling, kind of back to this, we want to help the students get into the schools that they want to go to. And we're very lucky to have a lot of wonderful faculty and staff on campus to be able to have lots of connections to different people and different schools, admission counselors, those kinds of things. And like I said earlier, 96% of students are admitted to one of their top 3 choice colleges. And that's just, I think that's so amazing. I'm an Interlochen Arts Academy alum myself, and I really believe in the power of Interlochen. And so I think that kind of just proves it right there. One of the other great things about Interlochen is when you go to visit colleges, Interlochen is very accommodating in helping you do that. They might, you just fill out a form and you tell your teacher, I have to go do this audition. I'm like, your grade isn't going to go down. As long as you get your work done, they're going to work with you. So our college matriculation, this is just a few schools that our students go to. There's a whole college matriculation list on our website, with probably over 100 schools. So basically, if you have a school you're interested in, we probably send a student there. So residence life, this is our other, we had the 3 arts, we had the 3 faculties, the residence life faculty, the arts faculty, and the academic faculty. Our residence life and student affairs faculty is one of my favorites. We have 20 instructors of residence life. So that's basically 1 adult living in each hallway. And we have 6 senior instructors of residence life who live in the lobby. They tend to be a little bit older adults. We also have 2 directors of residence life who kind of oversee all of the residence life instructors. And then as well as a dean who kind of oversees all disciplinary things and things like that. We have 7 residence halls, and I showed you one earlier in the slides. And all of our residence halls house between 50 and 150 students. And like I said earlier, we have about 550 students on campus. Housing assignments and roommates are chosen by like a form you fill out after enrollment. Your parents will fill out a form and you will fill out a form. And then you'll be able to be paired with somebody who we think that would be a good fit for you. It's usually not somebody who plays the same instrument or it has the same major as you. Part of the residence life kind of curriculum is that social emotional learning, health education, laundry. Many of you will do laundry. Maybe you haven't done laundry before, and kind of just developing time management, just being able to balance school and social life and music and kind of all the things by yourself. And that can be kind of hard, but we help you do that. And then basically, I have a couple of questions that are very commonly asked. When is check-in? When do I have to be in my room? When do I have to go to bed? So you will come to the residence hall, you will sign your name in your residence hall, and that means that you're there for the night. And there's different times that are required for different grade levels. And then on the weekends, it's a little bit later. So you'll sign in, and then the Wi-Fi does turn off at midnight to make sure that you go to sleep. But then it will turn back on at 6 o'clock so you can get any work done that you didn't get the night before. There is a chance to ask for late lights if for some reason you have a lot of homework or something like that, but that will not be granted every day. And can you have a car? Most of our students don't have cars. There's not anywhere that you would go. We do have a bus that will take you to the mall or to downtown of Traverse City, and you can go get to a restaurant or go shopping or something like that. So you still get to do fun things off campus. Diversity, equity, inclusion. At Interlochen, we are a very diverse community, as we talked a little bit about earlier. We have people from all around the world, from all different backgrounds, which is one of the things that makes Interlochen so great. So part of this is all of our student groups. So we have our Black Student Union, our Student Stability Coalition, Model UN, Slam Poetry, the Latin Club, the Queer Student Union, affinity groups. So if all of our clubs are student run. So if you're interested in doing something and running a club, all you would have to do is start that yourself. And there's funding for students to do that. So we can help you through that process. And then this kind of leads into what's the fun building on campus. The Dennison Center for Recreation and Wellness is our place where students go to blow off some steam and hang out maybe after school with their friends and things like that. There's a weight room that's really wonderful. There's 2 like big basketball courts, volleyball court. We have different sports. We have volleyball, lacrosse, you name it, we've got it. And we have a rock climbing wall, which is pretty cool. There are also other student activities like prom, which is just a huge school dance, and we actually call it MORP because, well, we're an art school, so we have to do things backwards. And then we do things we have a Super Bowl party, we have an Oscar party, we have all different kinds of student dances and things like that that will get you to, have fun with your peers. And then sustainability. Interlochen is a green campus. We're certified naturally grown. So you see this picture here. This is one of our greenhouses. So we have 3 hoop houses on Interlochen's campus. 50% of the produce that we grow in these greenhouses goes to our local food bank. And then 50% of the food we grow in here goes to our cafeteria. So the students get really fresh food in the cafeteria, which is awesome. We compost almost everything on campus, which makes the soil really great so that we can grow more of this stuff and we're not wasting. We have 100 tons of compost created by our students, which is crazy. So, and we do obviously recycling all around campus. Campus safety, this is important. You want to be safe when you're going to school. So we have a campus safety that is staffed 24/7. We have a large campus. We have 1,200 acres with over 400 buildings. So that's a lot of people walking around and helping. We have emergency communication systems that will alert you if there's ever an emergency on campus. We have phones that will alert you. Messages and phone calls will go to your phone. There's only one way to get into campus, which is our monitored gate at the front. And then we also have to conduct state mandated drills like fire drills and lockdown drills and things like that. But we coordinate with local law enforcement. And so if we ever need help from them, they're able to be here. I think it's in less than 2 minutes or something like that. So it's very, very safe. And then we also have our kind of health and wellness faculty and staff. So Corey Hill's our director of our health services department. So if a student's ever feeling sick, or if they ever need, somebody to talk with, or if they ever just, are not feeling good, that's a place they can go. We can help them and get medications if they need it or things like that. And then we also, there's a level 2 trauma center hospital very, very close to Interlochen. So if there was ever anything that we couldn't treat, we could easily take students there. So now we have to talk about how do you apply to be a part of this community. The application process is fairly straightforward. We ask for a student response, which has just a couple of essay questions. We ask for your parents to fill out a little bit of a response, just answering some questions about you. We ask for transcripts. The transcripts do not need to be official. They can be unofficial transcripts, which make it a little easier to get. We just ask for 2 to 3 years of grade history and like your latest grades. So if you are applying for, let's say, this fall, we would need to have all of your last year grades. And then 2 recommendation letters, one from a school counselor or principal, We don't ask for this because we think that that person knows you very well. We ask for this to make sure that you're enrolled in school and haven't been suspended or anything like that. And then we also do require an audition or a portfolio, and that's probably the piece that's a little bit different. All of those specific audition requirements and portfolio requirements are on our website, and you can look at those. But for music, I can tell you most of it is two contrasting pieces for each instrument. And then for our non-native English speakers, we require the Duolingo English exam. It takes about an hour. You just take it online, and we found that that's the easiest way to do it. So you don't need to take the TOEFL or anything like that. Just the Duolingo works perfectly for us. And then there is that financial aid application piece if you'd like to apply for financial aid. And then once you complete the whole application, you'll sit down with me and we'll have a chat. Interview sounds scary. I don't really like to call it an interview. It's more of just a chance for me to get to know you. And then financial aid, I talked a little bit about this earlier, but the way you apply for that is through the FAST application. And it'll just ask you to upload some different documents and things like that. And we work with you as well. We know that sometimes it can be confusing, especially if you're coming from another country and trying to fill out this application. So we help you through that process. The early decision application for admission is sorry, these dates are no, they're correct. November 15th is the deadline. It opens on October 1st, so in just about a month. That's for our early decision. And then our regular decision will open January 15th. So that would be the dates kind of for all of this. I always recommend early decision. I think it makes the year a little easier, makes your life a little easier. At least you know what's going to be happening. I get a lot of questions about mid-year opening. So can I apply for like the spring semester or the winter semester? It's just a case-by-case basis. So you'd want to just email me. My email is super easy. It's just Sydney@interlochen.org. And I'm happy to help however I can. Thanks.
Wow, that sounds really wonderful. Sydney, thank you so much. I heard that in the beginning you addressed that, and I think that is a lot of parents kind of concern, which is what if, as of now at age probably 15, 16, they seem to be really interested in music and we send them to an art school. And then after they got into art school, I mean, they still like it, but they also develop like a second interest. So they're hoping also to go into like a different field. And what does it look like if a group of students were like that? What's your chance of, branching out to like a different field with also some kind of art, I guess, specialty or special?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's a question that we get a lot. And it was a question that, quite frankly, my parents were concerned. They're like, you want to go on to music? Like, what's the plan here? And what's the backup plan here? And so we want to equip our students with creative thinking. And so we believe that that creative thinking will allow them to go on to do whatever they want to do. 11% of our students go on to STEM careers. So in math, science, engineering, they become doctors, lawyers, all kinds of things. I would say about 40% of our students go to conservatories and 60% of our students go to universities. So they all have many, many different interests. I had a friend who went here with me and then went to Juilliard, and then they finished a year at Juilliard and decided, I want to go to medical school. So they transferred to Columbia. And that was something that they thought that Interlochen gave them the ability to be able to change their mind and think creatively about how they wanted to do that, and that they weren't stuck in one thing. They could go do something. And I think Interlochen gave them that ability.
That's awesome. I'm going to switch over to Chinese, so I want to make sure that parents do hear this. All right. 所以各位家长，刚刚我问的就是招生关系你这个问题，因为其实很多家长的 concern 就是，我如果送我的孩子到了艺术学校，那是不是就已经注定了他以后都要往艺术的路线走呢？如果说我的孩子我还是希望他走其他的路线呢？那刚刚 Cindy 的回答是，其实他们有40%的学生毕业生就是持续的朝向艺术的方向走，但是其实60%的学生是往各个行业走的，所以其实不一定说你一进入到艺术学校以后就是一定要朝艺术的路线走。 所以就是也让各位家长知道一下，他刚刚说，其实他刚刚也举个例子，他说他们有个学生就是到了Julia 就是音乐学院，然后后来觉得说，哎，我想往其他的行业走，朝向就是医生的行业走，然后后来就进了就是哥大，所以我觉得这样的那个机会都是有的。
而且他是去读的是医学院，从音乐转到医学院，这个转化是非常大的。我觉得像你刚才说的有一点很重要，就是说你在艺术学院，他更加注重的，他就在 at the bottom of it，他们是注重培养学生的这种创造性思维。那么这种思维方式呢，就是说能够帮助你未来在很多的这种领域都可以 excel。
对，我觉得他刚提到一点，我觉得也很重要的，就是你的创造性思维，还有你的就是critical thinking，跟你的就是就是一些就是很多学校都很喜欢他们的学生出来有这样一个比较与众不同的就是 critical thinking，那可能就是在艺术学校，特别是培养的，就是除了艺术以外，还有 critical thinking 这个部分。那我觉得是其实对你以后到各行各业，其实都是很必要的，尤其是在美国这样的一个教育环境之下。我来看一下，家长还有没有什么问题？
对话框里面有一个问题，我看到，你看到了，你往上面翻一下，正义
看一下。
想了解一下 MIT Art 排名也是全球前十 Interlochen 有学生每年会去 MIT 吗？还是有点专业不对口？So,
okay.
Yeah. Do you want to translate, Letitia?
Go ahead if you. It's okay.
Okay. Okay. So, Sydney, we got a parent asking that. So the MIT has an art, which is also the top 10 in the globe, and she's wondering does Interlochen has a student go to MIT, or do you think you're focusing on different areas?
Yeah, absolutely. We have had students go to MIT. And you know what? Our director of admission actually just left to go and work at MIT. So we have lots of connections to MIT. And actually during the COVID-19 pandemic, we partnered with the Broad Institute at MIT, and they provided us all of our tests and things like that. So we have a very good partnership with them. Yeah,
that's great. So I'm kind of interested when you're talking about your students, that more than half, even though we are an art institute, but more than half of your students go to like universities. Would you like to share more like the profile, like their like way of thinking? So for high school, they choose art. And for college, they choose to do so the whole like developmental
right,
like timeline.
Yeah, sure. So I would say, so because 60% of our students go on to universities, it doesn't necessarily mean that all of them are not studying the arts in college. I would say probably 10% of those are studying arts at universities. But at Interlochen, we have wonderful academics, especially our math science program, I would say, is really, really wonderful. Like our physics classes are amazing. And so I think students, they come here thinking they're all about the arts, and then maybe realize that they really like science and may not have liked it at their previous school. And then decide they change their mind when they get here, because the academics here are also just as good as the arts classes. And I think that's something that surprises people when they get here is, oh, your academics are also good. Because first and foremost, we're an academic preparatory boarding school. So we want to help students get to the right schools, whether it's for academics or arts. And a lot of the, music schools and art schools like that are going to be very difficult. And so they need to have the ability to also be well-versed in their academic classes, learning good study habits and things like that. But each year it changes a little bit on what students are looking at, what students want to do. I would say in recent years, we have a lot of students who go on to universities and double major. They do music and engineering or theater and something else. And so I think that is a really great way to kind of keep both doors open.
Thank you.
刚刚心里说的，就是艺术其实是可以，因为其实 Interlochen 也是有非常非常强的一个数学跟理科的部分，他们不只是说在艺术的部分非常强，有很多顶尖的老师，那他们在数学跟理科的部分也都是很强的。那我刚刚其实在看他们的 video 的时候，有一个他们物理的老师说。他不给物理的学生 formula 的，他不给公式的，他要学生就是自己去创造自己的公式。那我想这个就是在艺术学校可能跟其他学校最大的不同。那另外我刚刚听到了是他们其实我觉得也很吸引我的是，他刚刚提到，就是其实很多的 boarding school 他们都会就是让一些 faculty 就住学校，那有一些 faculty members 就是他们的教职员，可能就是也就是教数学，同时也会教，譬如说体育的部分，教足球的部分，可是，在 Interlochen 他们是完全分开的，也就是说，他们让每一位教职员都有自己专属的专业，就是他们希望他们的教职员是100%专业的，然后你在教每一个 area， 每一个区块。我刚刚又看到了一个问题，
how to get to Interlochen from Australia?
Oh, so you'd have to somehow get to Chicago. And then from Chicago, you can easily get to Traverse City. You'd fly into the Traverse City airport, and there's direct flights from either Chicago or Detroit. But you would focus on getting to Chicago or Detroit, and then you could either drive or you could fly up to Traverse City, which the airport code for that is TVC.
How far is the drive?
From Chicago, it's probably about 6 hours. From Detroit, probably about 4.
So maybe a flight, it's better.
Yeah, flight's a little bit easier. You could fly in also to Grand Rapids, which is GRR. And that's about a 2.5-hour drive, 2-hour drive to Interlochen. But I always find it easier just to fly into Traverse City.
Right, yeah. And I got another question. So for international students, do you offer orientations? So
Yes.
get students.
Yep. So our international students come, I think, 2 days earlier than our domestic students and just get settled on campus, into their residence halls, meet with other students, have different, residence life activities and things like that. But there's a specific international student orientation.
Actually, we do have a student who is right now in Shanghai. She's very like creative and talented in visual arts, but she's very young. Right now, she's in 7th grade. So what would your suggestion to be?
My suggestion would be to come to camp to get ready for the academy. So we have a camp. I mentioned in the PowerPoint that we have a camp that goes from June until about August. And I always recommend students do that course, and then they get to come to campus and see the campus and get the feel for things. Our academy is very different than camp, but at least you get to come to campus and kind of meet some of the faculty, meet some of the students who will be at the academy and things like that. Rarely we allow students to skip grades, but we typically like for them to stay on the normal trajectory. But sometimes we do that on a case-by-case basis.
And I probably will find this information online, but just off your head, which grade does your camp start at?
Camp starts in 3rd grade, so very, very young. So like 8 years.
They're art focused, right?
Yep.
Art.
Exactly.
Do you have audition or do you require portfolios?
So at summer camp, not all of the programs have auditions. you can see more exactly which programs do have auditions, but typically for some of the younger kids programs, there's not auditions or portfolio requirements. For high school, there usually is, but for middle school and elementary school, not typically.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Letitia loves when she went to your campus. You
Oh, good. Good. I'm so glad. Yeah, our campus is beautiful. So I feel very lucky to come to work here every day.
I know, I'm super jealous. It's such a beautiful place to be and with that art atmosphere. And I just love the opportunities that you guys provided with the students. I mean, that's what they do with arts. 另外家长我也想要跟大家分享一下，就是我那个时候去访校的时候，我真的觉得就是让我印象特别深刻的就是他们提供非常非常多的机会让学生在舞台上表演。那我想学艺术的学生要做的就是表演，然后再来就是我觉得我也看到了另外的一个层面，就是通过这样表演的机会训练孩子们的自信，站在舞台上的 leadership 就是这样，就是他有办法站在舞台上就是表演给大家看。那我觉得这是另外一个层面，是也是在培养孩子的一个领导力。我觉得这个是我看到在艺术学校跟一般的可能 academic 的 boarding school 会比较不一样的地方。那除此之外，我也想跟大家分享的就是我觉得在艺术学校里面看刚刚Cindy说的，像他们就是在环境保育的部分，他们非常的重视。那我想这个也是全球性现在大家都在强调的一点，所有 top tier 顶尖的大学都是在强调这一点，所有的教育研究，所有的博士们都在针对这一个方向在做研究。所以你提前让孩子在高中的时候就受这样子的一个培育，他们提供很多 hands-on activity， 他们实际要去做，像他们刚刚Cindy在他的 slide 里面就是给大家看的，他们有一些 greenhouse， 让孩子实际的去接触，就是知道怎么样做环境保育。那我觉得这个东西孩子实际去做过了，他才会有这样的一个经验跟感想，那他到时候再申请本科的时候，大学的时候，他才有心得可以说，那这些都是 very valuable 的心得的 reflection。所以说，我觉得这个是让我觉得艺术学校可能跟一般 academic school 是会来的比较不一样的。那加上 Interlochen，我觉得他给学生提供这样的机会是非常非常多的。那真的不只是我说，我其实也是希望 I do want to encourage students to go visit the school. Because only if you're there to really see it and feel the atmosphere, the vibes there, and that's really get you excited. 这个就是我那个时候的心得 when I came over to visit. I mean, again, with all the internet and everything, it's very easy to find all the information online. However, that's specific and very unique vibes that the schools provide is something that you cannot get through the internet. So I do strongly encourage parents if you can, and I'm sure that the schools are super, super welcoming. That's how I felt when I was there. All the faculty members are very friendly students. They are so comfortably walking around the campus. They have these little areas, some areas for the students to socialize. And again, that is something that really stands out to me. 我也想要跟家长说的，现在很多的学校都非常强调在除了你在学术的部分，你当然要很顶尖很强以外，其实你在社交的部分也是我们美国所有顶尖学校都非常强调的一个 area， 一个方向。所以其实像我最近参观的几间 boarding school， 他们都提供给学生很多很舒适的空间，让学生们有一个机会跟空间去做彼此的一个互相的交流。那这个就是在 social development 的部分，就是我们希望在boarding school 的这个阶段，也培养孩子有这样子一个社交的一个机会。So any questions?
Another technical question. So you mentioned that you don't want the 不需要考托福 right？ 刚刚我不知道家长们听到没有，他不需要考托福，是考多邻国。So do you require SSAT？ 那么 SSAT 需要考吗？
We do not require SSAT. It's optional. So if you've taken it and you want to send it, you can, but it's not required.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tina, for asking this question.
Yeah.
This is a great question. 各位家长，现在很多的标化考试都是 optional。然后你看，Interlochen 这么顶尖的好学校全美排名第3的好学校，而且他们的跟这些顶尖的大学都有很好的就是partnership 的一个学校，他们对标化考试也只是参考用。所以如果你考得很好，我们建议你提交。如果你觉得我是国际学生，我在这个部分我就是本来就会比较弱的了，那没有关系的，我们就建议你就不提交了。那你在你的其他的 area 的部分，譬如说你在其他艺术的表现，你在其他特质的表现，个人特质的表现去做加强。那我觉得这样子对你对入学来说，对被录取来说，你的几率是相对增强的。That was a really great question, Tina. Thank you, and thank you, Cindy. Yes, a lot of parents.
对，其实就是说学生不用花太多时间去刷题，因为其实 SSAT 现在国内他们刷题是刷得很厉害的，就说你不用花时间就在那些小细节提高10分几十分那样，你 focus on 你的 art 的 portfolio， 你的这个真正的 passion 的上面。因为你看你哪怕你刚过来的时候，你录取的时候，你的英文肯定是会有一个适应期，他们有3个层次的语言的 support， 而且你到了这个语境，不可能你的语言会不提高。所以我觉得这个呢，也是对家长来说是一个 assurance 吧，一个定心丸吧，就是说，在艺术方面有 passion 有热情的学生，那么就 follow your dream. Don't worry about the language. You're gonna catch up.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cindy. And again, I really appreciate that you mentioned this language support at Interlochen. I think it's amazing. And again, like with the SSAT, those standardized tests, it's almost like not fair to international students,
right,
because
exactly.
they learn their academic subjects or classes in a different language. It's not like they do not know them. They do. They do it very, very well. However, they probably just need a little bit of language support to be able to show that, to display their knowledge of these specific subjects. So I think it's almost a little unfair, but I really appreciate that you mentioned with the Duolingo, it's just an hour instead of TOEFL 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So I really appreciate it. And also I wanted to point it out as well about the financial aid area. And again, I've seen the support from the school. You are looking for students who are passionate, who really want to go to Interlochen, rather than, even if they're financial, they don't want this to be a barrier. You don't want this to be a barrier. You do want to admit students who really want to be there. So let me switch over to Chinese. I do want to emphasize this as well. 各位家长，还有就是我想提的，就是他刚刚 Cindy 在他的那个presentation 里面也提到financial aid 的部分，就是在经济的支持上，就是他们要的是真的您对学校是有兴趣的，您真的对学校感到很热情的，你就是想去这所学校的，即便说您觉得说，在学费的部分好像似乎是有点高的，有点贵的，担心家庭负担不起的，他们也提供给这样的学生机会，他们要的就是真正愿意学习，对学校感到热忱的一个学生到学校去。所以说如果您在学费上其实是一个您的就是觉得说好像有点担忧的部分， it's okay， 就是不用担心，他们也提供了这样的 financial aid 让您去申请。 Now, Cindy, question, a little further question here about financial aids. What are the, I guess, qualifications?
Yeah, so we have merit-based scholarship and need-based scholarship. Need-based scholarship is just based on the parent's income and it's a case-by-case basis, but the merit scholarship is based on that artistic portfolio or audition. And so they'll get an award between $2,000 and $15,000 for merit aid.
Got you, thank you. 所以大概有2个方向的一个 financial aid， 一个是就是会看家庭的收入，那一个就是会根据学生提交出来的一个 portfolio， 因为你在申请艺术学校，你需要给学校一个 portfolio 去证明说，你对艺术事实上是真的很感兴趣的，那他们会针对你的就是这个 portfolio 去评估，然后给你这样的一个 financial aid。家长们还有没有问题 ？Any other questions that I forgotten? I was just totally I'm sold.
Good.
I'm sold. So if you all think of any questions that I forgot, feel free to ask.
Yes, and also feel free to reach out to me. My email is at Sydney, SYDNEY @interlochen.org, or admission@interlochen.org.
可以直接跟学校联系，那当然 feel free to reach out to us as well. Oh, thank you so much, Sydney. Sydney 把她的联系方式放在我们的 chat 里面了，然后I'm gonna put up a share, so you guys can also contact us as well. All right, 所以也可以欢迎我们联系我们的 email address。我们的 email address 是 admissions@maccabi.mom. It's MOM, everybody. 然后WeChat 的部分也可以跟我们的同事联系。谢谢 Amber 也把联系方式放在 chat 里面了。
对，可以加上 Amber 的那个微信上面 ，Amber 的微信和真意的微信都可以。注意一下，就是如果说是澳洲的客户，如果说刚才那个家长，您可以 scan， 如果您的英文比较好的话，可以 scan 我们那个美国客户的那个二维码。Thank you, Natalie. Where are you from? Oh, Natalie 走了。
走了。
After she says thank you, she said left. Okay, thank you so much, Sydney.
All right.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I really
appreciate
that. And we'll keep in touch, all right?
Yes, absolutely. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye.